All right, so are you giving to her or are you taking from her? In this video, I will be sharing with you the 3 levels of a relationship and to help you understand why you might not be doing as good enough job as you think you are. Hey everybody, it's A Benton, your certified life coach, helping men take control of their lives and achieve their desires. Subscribe to my channel and hit the bell to be notified when I post a new video every Tuesday. When men ask for my help in becoming fulfilled in their lives, they're wanting a feeling of happiness and satisfaction, and your relationships are an intricate part to experiencing that, which is why I wanted to cover the basics of any relationship. And that's basically to help you understand if you're giving enough to your partner or if you're taking too much from your partner. All right, so we all know that there's typically 2 sides to a story, right? And especially when you're in a relationship, what I commonly see when I'm working with men is that, the relationship deteriorates because there's a lack of giving, right? There's always a little more of a give and take in a relationship. And it's sometimes it's not always the one person's fault. Usually it's both people that are to blame for what is transpiring in the relationship. But what I found it to be is that it's usually unknowing, and it's not so much conscious that they're doing it. It's just built out of habit. It's built out of what they've been taught. And so really just trying to bring some understanding to the relationship and then rewire the mindset to think more of a giver than a taker. And so what I normally see is that I have one person in the relationship that says that, hey, I'm giving everything I possibly can. I'm doing everything I can to make sure that the relationship works and that it functions and that this person has what they want and that their needs are being met. While you have the other person that's saying the same exact thing. Hey, I'm doing everything I can, and for some reason I'm not receiving what I think I should be, and now we're at this disconnect. And so what I'm going to be sharing with you guys is the 3 levels of a relationship and how these levels really affect how cohesively your relationship works between the 2 people. And if one person is not operating on the same level as the other person, it will cause some disconnection. It will cause some dysfunction within the relationship. And if it's not corrected, it will more than likely lead to a breakup or divorce. And so without further ado, here's the first level of a relationship. All right, so the first level of a relationship is when each partner individually focuses on their own needs first. And now we know what this creates in a relationship. If you've been in a relationship long enough, you know this is going to create, right, discomfort and erosion, and that you're basically cutting off the lifeline of that relationship. Because nothing is ever a free will. When you go to give something, it's a ploy, right? It's a calculated creation to get or barter for what you want. And so it's hard to experience true love when you are operating out of the level 1, because you don't know what price it's going to come at. You know what I mean? So it's very disheartening, and it's very tough to be in a relationship, let alone love someone who's operating at a level 1, especially if you are the person operating at a level 1, because the other person, you're putting them out on a lifeline, and they're basically out on an island by themselves, and while they may be giving all that they can to the relationship to make sure that it works and that you are you are their world and that everything that you need is there, you on the other hand are again doing things based out of a ploy or a creation to get something out of whatever it is that you're giving. So this level here creates a lot of discomfort, and eventually if you continue on operating at this level, we all know what's going to happen. Your relationship is going to falter, and it's even 10 times worse if both people are operating out of a level 1. If both of you guys are individually focused on your own needs and no one is actually willing to give to the relationship, give to the other person, then eventually it's going to falter. It's going to fall out because no one is receiving what they need, right? And they're basically doing it on their own. And what sense is it to be in a relationship where the other person isn't giving what they should and making sure that the other partner is taken care of, and you can just do it on your own. So that is level 1. If you're operating out of level 1, then you're operating out of being an individual in the relationship, which is never good. All right, and level 2 is when each partner focuses on the exchange of giving only when the other person is giving back. Basically, you scratch my back, I'll scratch yours, is how the relationship is functioning. And we all know that, again, that's a terrible way to function and to operate in a relationship when it's a barter system, right? It's a give and go, it's a give and take. You do something for me, okay, now I'll do something for you. What do you need? And when you operate at this type of capacity, if you operate at this type of level in a relationship, it's going to get to a point where it's going to be a boiling point, right? And it's going to be a tit for tat. So if your wife or your partner or your girlfriend ask you to do something, to take them on a date, and your typical response, if you're operating at this level, would be, yeah, okay, I'll take you on a date, but you got to do this for me, or what do I get out of it, or how can we trade off? How can we barter with that? And that is a very sad way to operate a relationship, but people do it. And I don't think people necessarily do it to spite the other person or, do it deliberately. I think people just have, for whatever reason, have those tendencies to operate that way, whether that's worked for them in previous relationships and the other person never said anything, whether that they were taught to how to operate a relationship like that, or the other person just allowed it. But it's all about being cognitive, right? It's all about being conscious and aware of how you're operating in a relationship. And you got to remember too that this could be very weighing on a relationship, and it really leads to, this is mine and this is yours. And if you continue on that path, you will de-evolve to level 1, which is total selfishness. So again, you resort to not only doing something for your partner if you get something in return, but when you switch down to a level 1, you no longer care about what meeting her needs or his needs are. It's all about how you're going to be able to meet your own needs first. And again, operating in that manner will lead to your relationship dissolving. And level 2 is based on a common consideration and fair exchange. But often there's so much independence and inequality between the couple that you begin to lose the ability to move each other at all. And finally, we get to level 3 of a relationship. And now this is where every couple or every individual in a relationship should be striving to operate from. And this is where the partners are fully committed into giving unconditionally, right? There's no more barter system. There's no more give and go. There's no more just focusing solely on what I need. It's about giving to your partner unconditionally and not expecting anything back in return. And I know that when people are in relationships and you first kind of hear this, it's kind of backwards, right? It's like, if you've never been accustomed to giving, this could be a new concept for you. This could be really weird to hear, that the more that you give, the more that you receive, right? And a lot of people have been operating out of typically a level 1 or a level 2, for most of their relationships and probably for most of their lives, where they've only been focused on themselves for the most part, right? And making sure that they have what they need and that they're getting what they want, because no one else is going to do it for them. And then when they take that same mentality into a relationship, they treat it no differently, right? Where, okay, they see it as, okay, well, we're together, but you're a human being. You can tie your own shoes. You can the things that you want, you can go out and get them. You have a job. And so they just need to really adjust their mindset when it comes to being in a relationship and knowing that it's a tag team, right? It's not an individual thing. And again, that's where we strive to be at a level 3. And both partners in this level, they put each other first, right? And that's where the passion really starts to flow. And I think the key thing to understand is that when you as a man understand your spouse's needs or understand your partner's needs, and you go out of your way or you make sure that those needs are met, you'll be amazed at how fast you can turn around a depleting relationship. You'll be amazed at how the reaction that you get from your significant other, the more attention that you'll get from your significant other. If you had a lack of sex in the relationship because your partner wasn't getting their needs met, and now you start meeting their needs, you guys are having more sex, and you'll just be amazed at how big of a turnaround you can make it by just simply understanding your significant other's needs, your partner's needs, and making sure that you are doing everything you can to meet them and not expecting anything from them. And you got to remember too, when there is a strong foundation that's built off of trust, each partner can express themselves in darker and naughtier ways, right? And because they feel it's more pure, it's more real, it's more authentic, and each person is willing to give, right? And it is willing to acknowledge the other person's needs, and they do that unconditionally. They do that through love, and they do that because they want that other person to be joyful, be happy, and be able to express themselves. And when you have lacked that in your relationship and you start to implement that in your relationship, it goes from 0 to 60 real quick. And so the question becomes is, what level do you want to be operating at in your own relationship? What level do you want your partner to be operating at in your relationship? And really the challenge becomes into, moving yourself to a level 3. If you're operating from a level 1, you're starting from scratch. You got to figure out, okay, what is it that I can do to change so that way I can start moving up to these different levels, which in turn is creating a better relationship. Because eventually, if that's what you want, is a better relationship, then you're going to have to make a change. If you're the one operating at a level 3 and your partner's operating at a level 1, there needs to be a strong conversation as to, okay, does this person who's operating at level 1, do they want the same things as me? Do they want this relationship to continue? If not, then that's where you need to make your decisions. If so, then we need to figure out, you need to brainstorm, figure out, okay, what is it that this level 1 person can do to start notching their way up to level 2, and then eventually becoming to level 3, to where you both are working in sync with each other. And I think another key thing to mention as far as the levels of relationship, if you're the guy in the relationship and you're operating at a level 3 and your girlfriend, significant other, spouse, whatever, is operating at a level 1, at some point, you as a level 3 person are going to drop down to a level 2 because you're not getting your needs met. Over time, it's going to hit you, right? It's going to mess with the connection that you have, and you're going to start to think, okay, I've been giving this whole time. I continue to give, thinking that my partner is going to give back or recognize how much I give, and she's finally going to start reciprocating. So when you're operating at a level 3, you're more than likely, if your partner doesn't change, you're going to drop down to level 2. And then if it still doesn't change, now you both are at a level 1. And you got to find your way back to level 3. And that's why you cannot consistently keep a partner who is only operating at a level 1 or 2. Remember that. So if you're in a relationship and your girlfriend or wife consistently operates at a level 1 or level 2, and you're consistently operating at a level 3, it will not work. At some point, you will get drained. At some point, you will get fed up, and you will begin to drop down to a level 2. She'll drop down to a level 1 if she's not already there, so on and so forth, and you see where that goes. So essentially, the only way to improve your relationship is to change the level at which you're operating at. All right, so go ahead and comment below and tell me which level do you think you're operating at right now, and also which level do you think your partner is operating at. All right, so taking control of your lives and achieving your desires and becoming fulfilled in every aspect of your life can seem like a very daunting task, but more than ever, having accountability and clarity will make sure that you're successful. If you want to start moving in the right direction, click the link in the description below to schedule your free discovery call. This is where we get very clear on what it is that you want, what's holding you back, and what steps do you need to take to move forward. Be sure to check out these next videos to continue building on your mindset. If you like this video, hit the like button, subscribe, and share it with your friends. And as always, we'll see you on the next one.